The Salvation Army has been so quiet and so effective in what it does. I'm not sure the Salvation Army even asked to be helped for a good while until I was pretty well up on in life and running the bank. And Ed Whitaker, I was on the board at Southwestern Bell, called me and said that he was going to head up a drive to expand the facilities of the Salvation Army here in San Antonio and wanted me to help. And I was very glad to say yes, not only because Ed Whitaker asked me, but because of the Salvation Army and the good that I'd known that they'd been doing in this community in a very quiet way. And so in that job, we were raising a pretty good chunk of money for two of your, what I'd call new facilities. That was maybe 10, 15 years ago this happened, but it was also an interesting experience in coming together with other of my peers in the business community and going out to others and raising the money to help build these facilities. Again, the Salvation Army doing its job very quietly, very efficiently, but very effectively. And I was glad to be a part of that with Whitaker and many of the other business people here in the community. Well, one of the reasons is you've been here for 125 years. And San Antonio has benefited, I think, by having the work of the Salvation Army here and really being one of the leaders in the charitable purposes that a community needs to respond to and respect. And so to me, when you find somebody that's been here that long and done that much good and asked for that little and that less, you might say, it's something you really need to respond to. And I'd like to acknowledge that now, that I appreciate what the Salvation Army has done in so many different ways, with young people, with senior people, with those who are homeless, with those that are really in more need than most of the rest of us. It's a true charitable Christian organization, and I think that's really worthy of support. I think it's a tribute to the Army to have done almost what Jesus Christ did, of very quietly moving around, but moving with people who are in need and in poverty and carrying that on effectively. I just wish that even I thought more about it every day than I do, and I would hope that others would continue to think about it, because it's been a significant element in our community for now well over 125 years.
IPAC has once again partnered with the Salvation Army to make children's Christmas wishes come true.
The Angel Tree Program, brought to you by IPAC and the Salvation Army.
I think the Salvation Army does great work, honestly. I mean, you take care of the community, especially with focus, again, to go back to the Angel Tree, to go back, the focus on children especially, helping those who have not is, at least personally, I feel is a responsibility for everyone. The things I learned from him is that first and foremost is to help others. He was always very, very focused with being involved in charity, be it any sort of charity, and oftentimes focusing on children, those who can't help themselves. As far back as I can remember, my grandmother and my grandfather have instilled in us that Christmas is not only a time of celebration, but a time of giving. To be associated and to continue that, to help others, to give that spirit of giving to others, especially through the Angel Tree, is an incredible gift that we've been given and allowed to continue and help with.
You know, I guess it goes back to when I was growing up and in the early years, because I remember the representatives of the Salvation Army out during the holiday season with the kettles, and you know, you'd go by and I always wanted to be sure to have some coins to put in the kettle. And it was just always a reminder of time to share. And Sid got involved with the Salvation Army. And during his service, his years of service in the Salvation Army, he served as the president of the Girls Home Board, and then also later became the president or board chairman for the overall board. And he was absolutely dedicated to it. And he brought in a number of persons who then were community leaders that he knew, who he involved in helping the Salvation Army. And many of them continue to this day, either in person or in support. And so, of course, during those years, actually, when I was mayor, then the Salvation Army always knew that if they needed an alcalde for a special guest from out of town, they could get it pretty easily. Sid was a very wonderful Christian gentleman, and he really was very dedicated in his personal commitments, and he was very attracted to the Salvation Army because he felt that the people in the leadership, all of the staff, were so dedicated, and they weren't in it just for their own careers or to get ahead, but they were in it because they were so dedicated to the need and the cause. And I think he felt the sincerity there, and he was just, so happy to be able to serve himself in a leadership role. So, of course, I learned all of these things through our sharing experiences and talking to each other and visiting about things that we were involved in the community. Well, Salvation Army, of course, is just a wonderful organization, and I know San Antonians are very, very generous. They're generous in their financial gifts, but they're also generous from the heart in giving service. And it just is a wonderful organization that I think people really feel that they're giving to something important, something that is dedicated, something that is really sincere, something that is truly helping people. And for the recipients of the services, they are folks who are down on their luck, have had adverse circumstances. They need a helping hand. They need really spiritual and emotional support. They need shelter. They need food. They need many things. And I think most of all, they need caring, loving people to reach out to them. Well, the need never goes away. It's always there, and the Salvation Army has been a bulwark of providing help where it was needed, when it was needed. And so I think the role is just continue doing what you're doing. Well, it's a good mission, it's a successful mission, and as long as San Antonians support the mission financially and with their services, it should be there for a very long time.
Well, my main reason to be involved with the Salvation Army is since 1946, I've been serving food. So all of your honored guests and everybody here tonight, including all of the people that work and help Salvation Army, I've probably served in my lifetime of 68 years of parties. But the most fortunate part of my time with the Salvation Army was our original place was on North Zazamora, not far from the Peacock Academy. And I had become friends with the two colonels of Peacock, and they gave their school and retired in 1973. We at that time had been there. They had been our client, and therefore we were happy to welcome to the neighborhood the Salvation Army, and were able to carry on our friendship and to serve and help the Salvation Army in their new surroundings. The friendship has lasted all these years, and I feel like that it's a faith-based organization that God has helped them so through the grants they have, volunteers, the United Way, and all of the public people that have helped them. So my advice to all of us and to all of them is keep ringing the bell.
Hello, my name is Major Russell Chakowski. I'm the area commander here in San Antonio for the Salvation Army. I'm glad to see you all here today. Of course, I'm not Bill Klesse. Bill could not be here today, but we wanted to take the opportunity to honor him. Honor him for his willingness to support us with a red kettle every year. He's the first one to drop his dime into our kettle. I want to thank him for his generous support this past summer with our Hope Center program. He and 200 Valero employees personally painted our building, built a major playground, served our clients lunch. He is a hands-on servant. He's a servant leader, and I was very honored to work beside him this past summer. Bill, we wish you a great retirement, and we thank you and the Valero Corporation for your love for the San Antonio community and your love for the Salvation Army. We want to sincerely thank you very much.